What's up? This is Jan here on a Sunday doing a crypto market review where we predict some outcomes of Bitcoin, look at some news articles, and understand where the crypto market is going every Sunday and Wednesday of the week. So let's start off by looking at a news article really quick. JP Morgan files for a patent of Bitcoin powered payments, while CEO Jamie Dimon swallows his pride and confirms that he called Bitcoin a fraud just several months prior. Listen, this guy's been buying Bitcoin, okay? Whatever his motive is, it's probably to make money. He may be saying Bitcoin's a fraud, but I think this guy's smart enough to understand blockchain technology is here to stay. And Ripple being sued for the tokens that they're selling, which they made out of thin air. Millions and millions of ripples created out of thin air. It's really not looking too good for Mr. Centralized Ripple XRP. Investors are suing. They're having problems with the SEC. And based off of what happens in this case, I think we have a good idea of where ICOs may be going in the next few months, with the SEC actually cracking down on those ICOs, claiming not to be securities. So we're going to see this new wave of ICOs in a whole different spectrum regarding the blockchain and raising money and how this all really happens. In my opinion, we're going to see a lot less scams. It was the complete wild, wild west the past couple of months, past couple of years, and we're seeing a lot less of that, honestly, compared to what we had in the past couple of years. And I think it's looking good. I think blockchain is here to stay. I think we're going to see scams still happen, but a lot less. Again, it's up to you to do your research, do your homework, and invest wisely before you put your money into anything. That goes for anything you do with your money. Be responsible. Now let's check the Bitcoin charts, see where Bitcoin might be headed, check a few scenarios, and bam, let's look at the chart. We got our fresh new chart. Today's Sunday, May 7th or 6th it is. Bitcoin is sitting at 93.06. We had a resistance, obvious resistance at 10,000, which what everybody was looking at. I'll show you a fib retracement as well on how we found this resistance area. First, we would use a fib retracement all the way down from the top to the bottom candle. And check this out. We have fib levels right here, which state obvious resistance levels. We have a trend line. See this trend line right there that I drew? This was right on the dot. Look at that. Right on the dot. And we have plenty of traffic based on the previous chart, where this becomes major resistance. Not as big as the one coming up after it, of course. And let's check on the trend line that we may be testing in the next couple of weeks. I've always been talking about Bitcoin still in a bearish scenario, still in a bear market, just because we got out of this channel, this bear channel that we've been in for the past few months. Just because we got out of it doesn't mean that we can't go lower. And I always take into account that Bitcoin may go lower. And just because we're seeing altcoins flying right now, doesn't mean they can go lower if Bitcoin decides to crash. Now let's look at the market cap really quick, and something interesting is happening where if we do see a crash, we do see a correction in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a good idea of where it's going to stop and where our buy-in point would be. Now check this out, how markets usually correct and what we've seen in the past couple of years with Bitcoin and crypto is after a crash, we see this inverse head and shoulders where this would be the left shoulder, the head, and then we see a right shoulder. Now, after this, after we see the right shoulder, the trend either confirms and the inverse head and shoulder holds, and we continue to go on to the next, testing the highs again, okay? Testing the highs of 700 billion in market cap. If it does not hold, let's say it makes the right shoulder, and the shoulder does not hold, and we continue to break down and go lower, this would tell me that we're going to see new lows in cryptocurrency and test the previous resistance as support, which would be around 145, $160 billion market cap. Let's look at where Bitcoin might go if it breaks down. Right now, it's testing this area. Okay, it's testing the 9,300 area. And if we go lower, if we break down, and because this resistance at 10,000 held, we're seeing a bit of a breakdown. Where this breakdown could come down to is about 9,000 area. If I was to reload and pick up some Bitcoin, would be at 9,000. If that does not hold, the next level would be approximately 8,000. We're pretty much looking at area where there's a lot of traffic going on. You see right there, and at least we're going to see a bounce. So let's say this area doesn't hold. We're going to come down to 8,000 and we're going to see a bounce. Okay, we're going to see a bounce and we're going to go and test this area, the downtrend again. Possibly break it, possibly not. Possibly we do a scenario like this. Okay, now, right now, let's delete this really quick. I'm going to show you where the scenario that I will be taking any positions will be. In this area, let's make that purple really quick. Let's call this the no trade zone. Okay, it would only be a trade if we see a large crash. Okay, let's say we come down to 8,000. I would call it crash, just a small correction. I would pick it up here simply for a bounce, but I would not be picking it up and hoping for a break of this line. I would only be adding on a break of this line. So let's say we come down here, this holds, 9,000 holds, and we break out. Okay, we break out, we come past this resistance. The next level that we would be testing would be the 11.6. It would be 10.8 to 11.6 area, and probably back down to test this line again. So let's say we break out, we have this resistance, the resistance holds, we come back down, we test the line, test the trend line, come back up, do this inverse head and shoulders, just like markets do all the time after a crash. And right here would be a very, very important point where either we get a confirmation of a break and trend continuation, or this doesn't hold and we start breaking down and going lower. Right here, if we have a confirmation that this resistance did hold, I would be out of my positions, not all of them, but I would really, really scale out and minimize my positions because we could see new lows if this happens. We could trot around this area and break out, but because this held, the resistance held, and we broke down, this could be confirmation for new lows. And just because, again, just because we got out of the trend line, 3-month bear trend, doesn't mean that we can't see lower lows later on. Now let's look at another scenario. A scenario where we don't even break this trend line and we continue to break down. Let's say 9,000 does not hold. We continue to break down. Maybe we bounce up. We've been talking about this in the previous videos, okay? We bounce up, come down, and we start testing this trend line again. Let's make a quick ellipse, okay? And we start testing this trend line again. The more a trend line is tested, the weaker it gets. A lot of people may tell you that, oh no, you're just creating a base, you're creating a base. No, a trend line gets weaker the more it is tested, and at that point, it is looking for a breakdown. Okay, at that point, it's going to be looking for a breakdown. Where will the breakdown go down to? If it breaks down, it can get fairly ugly. In the first place that it will be testing, if it does break down past this line, I'm not saying it is, but we need to take in the possibility and take this risk into account. You don't want to be holding all your positions, being all altcoins, all Bitcoin. You want to be sitting in some cash at least and wait for a breakdown to be able to pick it up with cash at this area. Now, why this area? I'll show you right now. Let's go back on the daily chart. And by the way, why is this here? It's weird. I'm gonna keep saying this. Look, Bitcoin is still up 1,300% for the year. That's a lot, and we still have a lot of room to fall down despite a lot of companies implementing blockchain. Crypto's back on track. It's in the media. A lot of fuzz going on about it. Look, this can change in a matter of days. Sentiment can change from completely bullish to extremely bearish in a matter of days, a matter of hours, I would say. Right here, okay, right here, we were so bullish. Everybody's screaming 100K, 100K. The last thing you would see is a bearish chart. What happened the next day? 47% correction. Media saying Bitcoin's done. That's it. We're crashing. Blah, blah, blah. Same thing could happen here. Okay, same thing could happen if we don't break this trend line. So why would we be looking at this area? Let's draw a couple trend lines and have a couple of, oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, so we have this massive trend line right over here, and we have a lot of support. There's a big support cluster. You see a lot of traffic in this area. We have a trend line, and one of my favorite indicators is the fib. Okay, I think we have a fib, the 0.7 fib retracement at this area. Okay, again, we go from the bottom of the trend to the top, and look at that, everything's coming out perfectly if we break down. Now, this is a huge support cluster. I'm not saying we're going to go down to it, but if we break down, if this scenario happens, this is where I'm looking to buy. And this is going to be a monster bounce. Okay, it's going to be a beautiful bounce up to the top to test this trend line again, and then possibly break back down. This is a possibility. You know, honestly, nobody knows if this is going to happen or not, because the market is fairly irrational. It's fairly new. I'll tell you right now, $433 billion market cap for the entire crypto market is nothing. So take this into consideration. The market cap of all of crypto is worth half of what Apple might be worth. I think Apple's worth 800 billion now. So imagine that. All this can change in a matter of days. Okay, something fundamentally can happen, something in the news, you know, anything can happen, and we need to understand that these scenarios are very possible, either a breakup or a breakdown. Now, this is not a tradable area because we don't really have any levels of support, any major levels of support, and we don't have any confirmation of a breakup or a breakdown. I would be adding, if, let's say, we bounced up, we broke this downtrend of the symmetric triangle, and this is the symmetric triangle. We have this trend line and this trend line forming this big symmetric triangle where Bitcoin is kind of consolidating, waiting for either a breakup or a breakdown. I will be adding or subtracting from positions upon breakdown to the either side. Right now, I've taken some profit. This was an obvious area, the 10K area, with a trend line. I minimized some positions in altcoins, and I'm going to be waiting for a confirmation of either a breakup or a breakdown. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, they want to know, when are we going to see new highs in Bitcoin? I'll be honest with you. I don't think we're going to see it this year. I think we're going to be consolidating between this area. You know, either we're going to go lower, but we're going to be consolidating between the 2600 area and the 20,000 area for all of 2018. And going into 2019, we may see new highs. But this year, I don't think we're going to see new highs unless it's towards the end of the year. Because even if it takes, you know, even if we just V-bottom, just absolutely go crazy, okay, even if we do that, there's just some major resistance, and there needs to be so much money pumped into this market that I don't think we're going to see that this year. Even if we do something like this, we're still going to need retest of support and some consolidation, which will take us to the end of 2018 and possibly beginning of 2019 before we see new highs. And if we go like this, if we just go straight V-bottom, the trend is not going to be healthy because no support is being built, and we have a far way to fall down if it does break down. If it double tops and breaks down, we've got a long way to go. So I think we're just going to be consolidating for most of 2018, which is going to be good for ICOs and altcoins. So now that we've seen altcoins bottoming out, let's go to a new chart really quick. So with Bitcoin consolidating for most of 2018, we could see a huge year for altcoins again. And this is going to be massive. All right, I love altcoins. I'm usually sitting in 70% of altcoins unless I think we're going to see a bear market, which I was telling everybody to get out of their positions when we're hitting 17, 18, 19K. Right now that we've seen, let's check out Cardano. Okay, Cardano. A lot of altcoins have bottomed out, and I've picked up a lot of positions in the past couple of weeks just because they bottomed out. Okay, it was obvious that we're going to see some sort of a bull season in altcoins, which I got to remind you lasts only about a month and a half to 2.5 months on average. And check this out. So we had a nice bear market here for a few months. I mean, this is pretty much a chart that we're looking at every single altcoin. It bottomed out, and now we're seeing another run up. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to see all-time highs, but a lot of altcoins have bottomed out, excuse me, and may see new highs very soon. I minimize some positions because, again, altcoins do what Bitcoin does. If altcoins are bottomed out, but Bitcoin wants to go lower, altcoins are going to go even lower and create new bottoms. So be aware of this. Altcoins may be the way to go, but right now we're looking for Bitcoin confirmation of either to the upside or to the bottom side, where we can add positions like altcoins if we do see a breakup, and minimize once we see $11,900, $12,000, where we'll probably see some sort of an inverse head and shoulders and a confirmation of a breakup for higher prices, or a breakdown for more consolidation and potentially lower lows. Right now, we're simply looking for a confirmation. Any awesome news, whether we're going to see a Bloody Monday, that's a possibility. I think we might be. After all this, after a few weeks we had a green, we may see a Bloody Monday, both in altcoins and Bitcoin. But of course, stay tuned for the Wednesday update. Remember, it's every Wednesday and Sunday we're going to be doing crypto updates, talking about news, looking at the charts, predicting the markets, looking at possible scenarios, and of course, making a lot of money. Guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'll be putting out much content regarding crypto and business, and I'd love to teach you guys as much as possible so we can both be successful in this new bull cycle. And of course, looking forward to seeing you in the next video. So hit the bell, subscribe, looking forward to it. Cheers.